Anyway, but let's move on now to our next character. It is Seong, 7. Well, his real name is Seong, but 7, we'll call him 7 because that's what he calls himself. So with 7 is also very interesting because I already knew who 7 was before playing the game. Why, you would ask? It's because I follow this artist in Twitter who I remember that she really liked him. She really liked him. I don't know. She really liked him, and she would post about him like he was her favorite, and that's how I knew him, like I didn't know him more than like what he looked like, but I just knew him by his character design, yeah, by his appearance. So I already knew, out of all of them, I already knew about 7 beforehand, and I thought his design was really cool. Like I really liked his design. I thought it was different. Yeah, I thought it was different, because of his orange kind of messy hair, his yellow eyes, and then not only that, is also the way he dresses, like his glasses that are yellow and black, like with the stripes, and then like his sweater, his shirt, all of that stuff. Like I really liked his design. I really like it. I think it's very cute, very cool. I thought it was different as well. Like I don't think I've seen like a design like his. I think his design is pretty unique. I'm not saying that's like the most unique ever, like damn, this is super original, like never seen before. That's not what I'm saying, but like I think it's pretty unique, honestly, for what I've seen. But yeah, and out of everybody, he was the one that I was most, when I first started playing the game, of course, he was the one that I was the most excited about. Like he was the one that I was the most intrigued about. Why? Because like I had already seen him prior, like I said before, and that's why I had this already interest in him, that intrigue on him, and me kind of looking forward to him a little bit more than the rest. Not gonna lie, not that much, but a little, yes, a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, nowadays I think he's hilarious. I really do love 7 a lot. Like he's such a precious character to me too. I think he's so funny. Like I think he's hilarious. I cannot remember like how many times like he's made me like crack up, made me laugh so much for the things that he says, because his personality is very outrageous. It's very out there. He's very random too, but that's what makes him funny in my opinion. I think he's funny. I think he's hilarious. If I may add a quick example before I move on. I remember there was a specific chat. I think it was like when we were first getting to know them, of course. And I think he sent a picture of like a woman, basically, that that supposedly it was his maid. And I think he said something about like, oh yeah, like my maid, my maid, Mrs. Vanderwood, has come to my house or some That's not what he said, but it was something like that, okay? I don't remember the specifics, but yeah. And then we were kind of like, oh my god, like she's so pretty, like she's so beautiful, the usual. And then he was like, that's me, lol. And then like he started like to crack up, and I don't know why that like shook me. Like I don't know, that surprised me. I was kind of like, what? And then I took a closer look, and I was like, oh my god, you're right, that is him. Like what? Like I remember that interaction with him so vividly on my mind, because I was just like, I was not expecting that. I was just kind of like, just like, wow, she's really pretty. And then he was like, oh my god, like like that's me, and then he always said lol or lol. Like he always said that, like that was his thing. And yeah, cosplaying was also his thing. And I don't know, I just remember that moment. And I remember I was like, at first I was like taken aback. I was surprised. I was like, huh? But I thought it was I just thought it was funny. Like just to give a small example. But yeah, I mean, one thing that I can say about him. I guess to talk a little bit also. I did talk a little bit about Jumin's route. I guess I'll talk a little bit about his route as well. His route, I think it's I know I'm saying the word interesting a lot, but it is. I feel like Jumin's and Seven's route are literally polar opposites. Like, they're polar opposites. And what I mean with this is because when we got closer to Jumin, you know, when we met him, like, he didn't want to let us go. Like, he wanted us to be right there with him. He even suggested, you know, like, him wanting us to be in a cage. Like, what does that tell you, you know? He wanted us to be right there. Like, he did not want to let us out of his sight. He wanted us close to him. Salmon, though, it was the contrary. Once we got close to him, he wanted us away. Like, he wanted us, like, 6 feet away from him. Like, all the way on the corner. I don't know. Like, he did not wanted us close to him. He pushed us away. He was kind of being mean, cold towards us. Why? Because of the same reason that he just didn't want us close. Like, he wanted us at a distance, and he wanted to keep us there. There you go. So that's very interesting because they're both the polar opposites if you think about it, of how things went down. Now, with Seven, the reason why he kind of wanted us from far away. Okay, let me say this from the very beginning, okay? So it could all make sense because it's a lot, okay? It's a lot. Oh my god. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Right, okay. So we were staying at Rika's apartment. Rika is yeah. She was B's partner. Yeah. And obviously B is also another member of this game of the RFA or whatever. I'm gonna mention him a lot in this video because he has a lot to do with Seven. I mean, with all of them. Also Jumin. Now that I think about it, I don't know why I did not mention him with Jumin. I guess to clear it out now, he is Jumin's childhood friend. So they've known each other since they were very young. Since they were children, basically. But yeah, here B is also very much involved in Seven's life. And I will mention him further on. But yeah, basically we're staying on Rika's apartment, okay? We're staying at her apartment because we're basically filling in for her and her position, which was her organizing the party and inviting a whole bunch of people and convincing them to come to our party, which is about donations and stuff. That's why we're staying there. We're using her computer, the app, and whatever the you know, we later discovered that she had some very sensitive documents right there, but we're not gonna get into it in this video. But basically, you know, prior to this, well, not prior to this, but while this was happening, we were talking normally with Seven. You know, through the chat, him being his silly, goofy self and us being ourselves. I would hope so, along with the other members, of course, of the RFA. And basically, we knew, well, Seven, if I'm not wrong, knew that there was a bomb on our apartment. Why? Because of said documents that I just mentioned. But I guess I don't remember how he found out, but he knew that somebody unknown from the cult of the eye was gonna come and snatch us, basically. He was gonna come and kidnap us. I'm kidding, but he was gonna come and, yeah, like, take us with him, I guess. And he, obviously, since he cares about us and, well, yeah, he likes us, he literally got all the stuff that he needed from his place, you know, because he's a hacker. He's in, yeah, like, he works in an intelligence agency, if I'm not wrong, and he goes over to our place. okay, in a hurry, worried, yes. And when he gets there, that's when Unknown gets there. And if you guys didn't know, now you know. Unknown is Seran. Who the is Seran? That's Seven's brother. Twin brother, by the way. Not just a normal brother, twin brother. And obviously, Seven, he recognized him right away. Even though he does look different, not gonna lie. Like, I mean, they're twins, you know? He's supposed to have orange hair, yellow eyes, but now his hair is white with pink at the ends, which I'm pretty sure is dyed. And his eyes are like a turquoise color. So even though he does look not the same as he did, of course, Seongi, he still recognized him, you know, and obviously he grew very upset. I'll say why, but basically, like I said, he wanted us to snatch us, to take us away, but like, you know, like basically Seong warned him that there was a bomb here and that it was gonna explode. And I think that's the reason why he went away. If I'm wrong, please correct me. Please. I mean, it's been a long time since I've played this game, and basically, he had stayed there. Like he had stayed there with us in the apartment. I'm sorry, because he wanted to keep us safe. You know, he wanted to protect us. Yeah. So he stayed there. That's the reason why he took all his equipment, you know, so that he could still keep doing his job. But instead of doing it in his place, he's doing it on our place, in between quotation marks. Well, it could be our place now, but like technically it's still like, I think it's still considered Rika's place if I'm not wrong. But yeah, so he stays there. Now, while we were talking to him on chat, we got along really well. We got along super well. I mean, he would make us laugh a lot, or like we would match his energy, you know, because Seong is a very peculiar person, you know. He's very unique, he's very random, he's a character for sure, you know, but not like a lot of the members. I feel like they don't really go along with him, you know, which, oh, you know, it's valid as well, but like we did. I remember we did. I don't remember what instances, or I cannot remember an example, but I do remember that we kind of, you know, like we matched his energy a lot and we got along very well. And obviously, you know, we grew closer to each other, and, you know, through chatting, of course, or through calling, actually, phone calls as well. This is a thing here, I forgot. And, you know, we started to like each other. It's, oh my god. But yeah, and basically, of course, like, you know, we were happy to see him in person, you know, and all that. But the thing is that Seven was very cold towards us. He started acting very cold, very distant towards us, and even like mean. Yeah, even like mean, in all honesty. Yeah, it was painful. it was something for sure. And as I always say, it did it surprise me? I guess it did. It did surprise me a bit, especially because of how he is, his personality, which is very outrageous and very much out there. And then all of a sudden, it's like from one spectrum to the other, you know? He's now like all quiet, minding his own business, being on the corner, you know, like a hermit, and like being all like cold and like, you know, like keeping his distance or whatever, you know. It was weird for sure. I was kind of like I was conflicted. I was very conflicted about this, But I was like, okay, I guess. And I guess the reason why Seong, I call him Seong, or 707, whatever you want to call him. He was kind of taking this behavior towards us. It's because of his fears, because of his troubles, because of his job. Yeah, because of his job. Yeah, there's another word for it, but I can't think about it right now. Basically, Seong, he, like I said, he's a hacker. And as a hacker, you can't really like have friends or be really close to people. If not, like, you're gonna get in trouble, or those people around you are gonna end up dead, or at least that's what they made him believe. You know what I mean? And I think that was like his fear, that he couldn't let anybody get too close to him, because then he thought like that they would be in danger, basically. In other words, us. Yes. But yeah, it was because of his profession, but it was also because of his past. Like, this also has to do a lot with his past, and why, again, he kind of has this belief that whoever he gets close to, like, he will endanger. Yeah. So now to go a bit with his past. So Seong and Seran, they were conceived outside the marriage by his dad. So his dad is like the prime minister. He's a prime minister, so he's a very important person. And of course, he was married and probably had children as well. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But like, basically, he obviously cheated. And, he had them with their mother. It was outside the marriage, basically. And yeah, I mean, that happened. And the thing is, though, that of course, if any word of this got out, like, it would really affect his reputation. That wouldn't really put him in a good light. And their mother took this as an advantage, and blackmailed him. She blackmailed him to like give her money in exchange for her keeping Seran and Seong hidden from like damaging him and his reputation or whatever. And of course he took it, and like, because like for him it was just like, just keep them out of sight, nobody can know about them. Whatever, and fine, I'll give you the money. And yeah, I mean, he agreed, and that's what happened. Though the thing here is that their mom was very abusive. She was very, very abusive towards them. Yeah, I'm not laughing because it's funny, okay? It's just, I don't know. She was very abusive towards them. Especially towards Seran, though, because Seran was considered the weaker out of the two. Weaker in the context of, I think he was more like sickly, if I'm not wrong. I think he would get sick more. And not to say that he wouldn't like really like stand up for himself or against his mother, so I guess for her, like, like, it was easier for her to pick on him than it was for Seong, who was considered the stronger one, and that he would stand up for Seran, and he would, stand up against his mom, even if it was his mom. That didn't change things, because even I think Seran, even at one point, like, he was I think the mom would have her like chained up, if I'm not wrong. He had like chains on him, or whatever. But like, Seran always tried to like I think to free him and like to take him out and have ice cream and all that stuff, as like as a good brother does. The turning point though here is when he meets B. Haha, I told you we were gonna mention him again. If I'm not wrong, I think he met B at church, because Seong is a Catholic, so he went to church. And I think that's where he met B. I don't know, B and Rika basically. I don't know if it was B first and then Rika and B. I don't know. He just met both of them, okay? That's the point. And basically, I guess he grew closer to. I mean, B is older than him by a few years. Because I think when Seong was like a teenager, maybe a teenager, I don't know, or maybe even younger than that. I think B was already like an adult, or I don't know, like when Seong was a child and B was a teenager. I have no idea, but moving on. Basically, I guess they grew closer to each other, and basically, I think. Well, I would think so, right? It would make sense. Seven basically told his situation to B, that, he lived in a very abusive household with his mom, being very abusive towards them, especially towards Seran. I think it was more towards Seran, yeah, than it was for Seong. And I think this is when B basically suggests him to get into hacking, to learn how to hack, get into an intelligence agency, and basically get him and his brother out of that life, to have that escape. Because I think Seong had previously promised Seran that they would escape from all that, from their mother and from that house, and like I guess from everything. No, Seong obviously accepted, because I mean, that's all he ever wanted, along with his brother. But the thing is that he wanted to take Seran with him. But there's more buts here. B suggested otherwise. B suggested for him, to do his own thing, do the whole hacker thingy majiggy, but to leave Seran with him and Rika. Basically to leave him in their caring hands. Is that how you say it? To leave him in their caring hands? Yeah, I don't know, but oh my god, I can't think of anything. Oh my god, of like the little phrases or whatever, but yeah, to leave him in their caring hands, basically. Yeah, no, yeah, that's how you say it. And and that they would take care of him. And Seong, he didn't really he was kind of skeptical about it first. Like, he was unsure about it, because it is his brother, it's his twin brother. He's been with him all his life, so like all of a sudden to be like apart from him, it was very foreign to him. But I guess at the end he kind of came to the conclusion of like, you know what, it's fine, like at the end of the day, I'm doing this for both of us, even if we're together or not. So he accepted, and yeah, like Seran basically got under Rika's and B's wing, and Seong got into hacking basically. So oh, also, not only that, it was also because of his dad, because he believed that his dad would send like his people to follow Seran. Wait a minute. Yeah. Sorry. I just needed to confirm that. He basically believed that his dad would literally like send people to track or to be tracking Seran. Yeah. And that's why he also did it. He was like, okay, yeah, like I'm gonna be a hacker and I'm gonna do it as you told me to, you know? Now, can you believe the surprise he got to find out, you know, that the brother that he thought was in the care of B and Rika, because supposedly B, I think it was B, or Rika, I don't know. I think B most probably would send him pictures. He would send pictures to Seven of Seran, you know, to show him how he's doing. And yeah, but like, can you believe like the shock that he must have gone through to see his very own brother that he thought was on the carrying hands of V, who I think he considered him at one point like his dad, and all of a sudden to be right here in front of him and to be part of that cult that was going to kidnap MC, like, girl, that must be mind-boggling. What the that's so messed up. And I mean, yeah, you can just imagine all of this piled up, why he kind of took this attitude towards us. Yeah. But later on, you know, with our insistence, you know, with our acceptance of him, with our affections towards him, even though at one point it did annoy him. Yeah. He, you know, he later came around. He came around to us. Yeah, something very interesting though that I read upon this, that I've never heard about, by the way. Not that I've never heard about it. I've heard something about this, but I don't know. Is that the reason why he kind of like, you know, warmed up to us again, and, you know, was like willing to, you know, to talk to us again like he used to before and all that, is because supposedly he saw us as a real person. He saw us as a real person compared to everybody else, because I guess he saw everybody else as just part of the game or part of B's manipulation, you know, as like his tool or his puppet. But obviously it wasn't like that, again, because we accepted him for who he was, with all his flaws, with all his troubles, you know, with all his fears. We accepted him who he was, you know, because his whole persona about him being outrageous and him being this very like very out there, very loud, very like clownish, I guess you could say, character. It was all kind of like a front, basically. It was a front to like basically protect himself and like his, you know, his real, I guess his real self, you know, which is very vulnerable and who has all these fears, you know, correlating to his present and to his past, and, you know, whatever the heck is going on with like Seran and B and all of that stuff. Yeah. So, you know, he later, like I said, he came around and we were good. But yeah, that's me going in like a little bit of his past, of course. Yes. And now moving on to his ending. His ending was interesting. Well, not that it was interesting. My reaction to it was, I don't know if to say interesting, but I guess I'll just say it. So basically, at the end, if I remember correctly, we did not attend the party. Because like I said, well, yeah, we as MC, we organized this party. You know, we invite all of these very important people, convince them to come, and then we set on a date, you know, and then the party happens where all the RFA members go, and it's very successful. Basically, me and Sejong did not do that. We dipped. I'm kidding. Well, we basically did. But basically, me and him, we did not attend the party because because we were gonna go save Seran. I don't remember the exact details of this, by the way. I'm sorry. It's been a while, okay? But they were gonna go rescue him basically, you know, because he's up, okay? He's not the same as he was before. And him being in this organization cult like thingy or whatever. Now, the thing is that when this was happening, you know, when me and Seong were gonna go and rescue him, well, on our way, right? It was already the 11th day, sorry, that came out not good. AKA the last day. In other words, there was gonna be no more days after this. I don't know why in my mind I thought it was gonna continue. Like, I kid you not. I thought it was gonna continue. Like, it's because okay, I guess it was because I was so excited, you know. I was so pumped up. I was like, you know what? Like, yes, we're gonna go save Seran. We're gonna go save his brother, you know. We might miss the party, but it's for a good cause, you know. And then we're gonna be a happy family. And, you know, and I was so excited, you know, because it was gonna be like this new journey, this new adventure, this new chapter or whatever, you know, of our lives. And then suddenly it ends and like the ending song comes on, and I remember I was low-key kinda like upset. Like, not because it was not good. I love Seong's route. It was because I don't know why I had this expectation that it was gonna continue, you know, when girl, no, like, it's the last day. Like, like, from where was it going to continue? From nowhere. But I don't know why in my mind I thought that it would. I don't know. I think I just lied to myself. I lied to myself back then. And that's why I kind of grew a little bit, I guess sad and disappointed, because I really wanted it to keep going, you know? I really wanted it to continue, but then it didn't. You know, very rightfully and understandably so. But yeah, I don't know why that did not click in my mind. I don't know what I was on back then and at that moment. But yeah, I remember I was a bit upset about it. And, you know, I did feel kind of guilty about it because I do really love Seong. Like, I love Seven. And I was kind of like, damn, like, why do I feel like this, you know? Like, I should be like, oh yes, like, I love this ending, I love it so much, you know, like, I love it. Kind of like the same way that I did with Jumin, but no, it ended up being this way. But again, it wasn't the game's fault, it wasn't his ending's fault, it was me. Nowadays though, I do love it. I love it so much. I love the way that it ended. You know, it's perfect. But I guess what I didn't like back then, not that I didn't like it, but that kind of like, I don't know, was that it kind of ended up in a cliffhanger, I guess. Kind of deal. Something like that. Yeah. But, and yeah, kind of. And I don't know if to call it interesting, because, like, I don't know, because it's like my reaction. But I just find it kind of, I guess, yeah, interesting comparing it to Jumin, you know. But anywho, my God, excuse my past delusional self. Another like fun fact, or small fact that I like about him is the theme song. So we all know that, like, Mystic Messenger on their trailer, or even at the beginning of the game actually, they have this theme song. I guess I could sing a little bit, very little, because I don't want to get copyrighted. Anyway, it goes something like, if you how do you go? How does it go? If you get mysterious messages. Okay, there you go. That's all I'm singing. Oh my god, hopefully this does not do anything to me. But yeah. Basically that's the theme song, right? Where all the characters come out, all posing beautifully with the wind hitting them or whatever. And I was curious one day and I was like, I want to read the lyrics of this song, And so I did. And I found out something very, very interesting. I found out that this song is in Seven's perspective. It's in Seonggi's perspective. And I was like, oh my god, like that's so cute, And I mean, I feel like it is really easy to depict that it is from his perspective because in our route, oh my god, in our route, he tells us that we should marry on the space station, which I think is so cute. It's so unique, just like he is, like so different. Like, yes, let's marry on the space station. Seven, Seong, whatever, Lucio. He has a lot of names, but yeah. And he mentions that on the song. He's like, oh, I don't remember and like in the exact quote that he says it on, but he basically says like, let's marry on the like at the on the space station, and I was like, oh my goodness. That's so beautiful. But yeah, I was just kind of like, oh my god, like that's so, I don't know, like that's so cool. That's so, I don't know, that's just so interesting that they decided to do him on his perspective, specifically on Seven's perspective out of every character. So yeah, I just thought that was beautiful. I don't know, I just really liked it. I really liked the theme song in general, but I think I liked it even more when I found out that it was on his perspective specifically. It made it a little bit more special, in my humble opinion. So yeah. But yeah, that was it for my video. This time of 7, Seong, Lucio, 707. Yeah. I don't know. I think those are all his nicknames. Well, not his nicknames. They're like his, well, no, they're not his actual, well, no, Seong is his actual name. Lucio, if I'm not wrong, is like his baptized name. And then 707 and 7 is the name that the name that he gave himself, like in the chat, or like to refer to himself or whatever, I guess. But yeah, more of the story, I love Jimin and Seong. I love them both with my whole heart. For me, they're very complex, very deep, very real, vulnerable characters, in my opinion. Well, they all are, okay? They all are. I'm not trying to say that, like I mean, not B. I was literally talking about Zen and it came out B. Zen, Yusong, and Jaehee are not. They are, but like, I do feel like with Jimin and Seven, they do touch more like, more, what's the word? More sensitive, I guess, topics, more serious topics. And I really love them for that. I love both of their characters so much, and I would never get tired of saying that, of repeating that. But yeah, there are other versions of this, like in the game. Like, I think there's like a Valentine's version, like an April Fool's version. There's also like a normal ending, bad ending, bad ending 2, I think, if I'm not wrong. I haven't done none of those, by the way. I have not. I had gotten good endings in all of them in my first try, which is crazy, but like, yeah. I haven't done the rest, but when I do, I will review it. I will make a video about it, okay? But for right now, no, I don't have it, okay? Sorry. I guess to add one more thing, should I add it? It's because I've heard like a rumor that supposedly like Seongi is like a very important character. They're all important, but I think I heard somewhere or theories, I think in Twitter, I'm not sure, that a lot of like the players think that everything that has to do with the game is connected to B. To B. Oh my god, why do I keep saying B? Oh my god, I'm obsessed with him. I'm kidding, but I don't know why I keep saying B. What the hell? I literally only mentioned him a few times and now I cannot get him out of my head. Taeyong, that everything that has to do with the game, everything that happens in the game is like connected to him, which I think is a very interesting theory, by the way, because supposedly there are like some things that happen in the game, like in the other members' routes, you know, that connect to him, and it's not even his route, you know what I mean? And I just find that so interesting, you know, like, damn, okay. Again, I don't think this is confirmed. I think it's just something that a lot of players think and believe, but I just felt like throwing it in here because I don't know, that sounds very interesting to me. And yeah, I love Seong. But yeah, thank you for watching my video, my second part. It was originally supposed to be one video, but it ended up being two. It's okay though. Thank you for watching my video, especially if you made it to the end, because I know that these type of videos are very long. I will try and make them shorter though. Not that I will try, I will make them shorter. But yeah, I mean, if you like my video, please give me a like. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified whenever I upload a new video, then click the bell notification button that is right at the bottom. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Oh, and to answer your question, I don't know if you had this question, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. Yes, my favorite is Seong.